What's going on, guys? I'm JB Hoops, and today I've got you with a big board for the NBA draft class of 2022. With the NBA and college basketball season well and truly underway, it's time to have a look at some of the prospects that will be entering the 2022 NBA draft. So today I've compiled a list of the top 30 prospects and explained their game and highlighted their strengths and weaknesses. So let's get right into it. At number 30, we got Julian Champagnie, the 6'8 junior out of St. John's. He's a skilled combo forward and an absolute bucket. He's averaging 21 points per game, 7 rebounds, 2 steals and a block while shooting 39% from 3. He's also a good spot-up shooter and a fluid and agile athlete and a solid defender. However, he has a flat shot, he's not an explosive athlete, and he struggles shooting off screens and off the dribble. Next up is a 7-foot center out of Duke, Mark Williams. The sophomore has a 7'7" wingspan and is a great vertical athlete. He averages 10 points per game on the season, along with 7 rebounds and 3.5 blocks, shooting 67% from the field and 66% from the stripe. He's a good rebounder, elite shot blocker, good rim runner, and elite lob threat. However, his lack of offensive skill set might scare some teams off. At 28, we have the senior out of Kansas, Ochai Agbaji. At 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan, Ochai Agbaji is an explosive athlete and has elite 3-and-D wing potential. He's averaging 20 points per game on the season with 5 boards, shooting 52% from the field and a blistering hot 47% from 3. He's dominating this season and he's definitely a Player of the Year candidate. Agbaji's only downsides are his draft age of 22 and his playmaking ability. Next up is Ismael Kamagate. He's 6'11 and 21 years old out of Paris basketball. He's an athletic and mobile big man with over a 7'3" wingspan. He's a great shot blocker and rebounder, has soft touch and is a good passer and a promising shooter. He's averaging 11 points per game, 6 boards and 1.5 blocks, shooting almost 70% from the field and the line. However, he struggles with left-hand finishes and is yet to expand his range to the 3-point line. At 26, I have Ousmane Dieng out of New Zealand Breakers. The 6'9 wing, who will be 19 on draft day, has a 7-foot wingspan and is definitely a project type of pick. He's a solid, fluid and mobile athlete, has a promising handle and playmaking ability, he's an impactful defender, and he has upside in the NBA as a point forward. However, he's had a pretty poor start to the season. He's only averaging 3 points per game on horrible efficiency and is very much struggling with shooting consistency. Next is a 6'3 freshman point guard, Davison, coming out of Alabama. He's an explosive and high-level athlete, fast in the open floor, has a very quick first step, good vision, and is a strong finisher, shooting 48% from the field. He's averaging 8, 4, and 4 in the season, but is struggling with his consistency in shooting and his decision-making, which is leading to a lot of turnovers. But his elite athleticism will definitely interest a lot of teams in the mid-20s. At 24, I have another prospect coming out of the New Zealand Breakers in 6'3 Hugo Besson. He will be 21 on draft day and he's having an amazing season, averaging 15 points per game and shooting 33% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. He's a good shooter, crafty scorer, has a nice handle and is a sneaky athlete. He's also a good playmaker and a good defender. Concerns with his game are his shot selection and his lateral quickness at the next level. Next up is a 6'9 freshman out of Baylor, Jeremy Sochan. The forward has great size and an NBA body. He's a good athlete, versatile defender, good rebounder, and a decent shooter. He's averaging 8 points and 6 boards in the season with a steal and almost a block per game, while shooting 35% from 3 in just 22 minutes per game. His shooting isn't expected to keep up as it is, but he's a great, versatile big man to take towards the end of the first round. Wendell Moore, 6'6 junior out of Duke, has a 7-foot wingspan and is a skilled and developed player with the ability to play multiple positions. He's a great scorer off the dribble, has great vision and playmaking instincts, is a good defender and a great shooter. He's averaging 15 points, 6 boards and 5 assists on the season, shooting an amazing 56% from the field and 41% from 3. He has minimal flaws, but the fact that he will be 20 and he's a junior might deter some teams from taking him earlier in the draft. Trevor Keels, the freshman out of Duke, lands at 21. He's averaging 12 points, 4 boards, 3 dimes, 2 steals, while shooting 30% from 3 on the season. He has a Lou Dort type frame, he's good in the pick and roll, he's a great defender, he's a good playmaker and a decent shooter off the catch. He's been struggling finishing at the rim and efficiency and his first step isn't great, but his defense and potential alone will get him picked in the first round. Notre Dame's Blake Wesley comes in at number 20. The 6'5" guard has a near 7-foot wingspan. He's a big combo guard and has great offensive creativity and scoring instincts. He also has a shifty handle and is very unselfish, and he's a capable shooter. He's averaging 15 points per game on 45% from the field and 33% from 3. He struggles finishing through contact and with his free throw shooting, but his scoring instincts will do very well for him in terms of his draft stock. Marjon Beauchamp comes in at 19. The 6'7" wing out of the G League Ignite program has a wingspan of 7 feet, which allows him to be a versatile defender and great rebounder. He is also a skilled slasher and scorer. He's a high-level athlete and really strong in transition. He's averaging 15 points, 7 boards, a few steals, and shooting 57% from the field. And with improved shooting, he could definitely be a riser. Next up is a 6-foot freshman out of Tennessee, Kennedy Chandler. He has an extremely quick first step. He's a good 3-point shooter off the catch. He's comfortable playing on or off the ball, and he plays with a lot of control. He's also an active and solid defender. He averages 13 points, 5 assists, and over 2 steals a game, while shooting 32% from 3. His concerns in the next level regard his size, his lift on his jump shot, and his poor free throw shooting at just 60%. At 17, I have Jean Montero. The 6'2" guard out of the Overtime Elite program is very hard to judge in terms of where it will go on a big board and in the draft. But he's 18, he's a creative scorer, good in the pick and roll, has a shifty handle, and is a good shooter from what we've seen. The sophomore out at LSU, Tari Eason, comes in at 16. The 6'8" combo forward is strong and athletic and has a solid all-around game. He's a versatile and switchable defender, he's an excellent transition scorer, he has a high IQ on defense, and he's a good free throw shooter at around 80%. He's averaging 16 points per game, 7 rebounds, 1.5 steals and a block, while shooting 54% from the field and 33% from 3. He's not in the lottery quite yet for me, mostly due to his draft age and raw offensive skill set. His 3-point shooting consistency and his explosiveness and first step. At 15, I have the Baylor freshman, Kendall Brown. The 6'8" forward is an exceptional and explosive athlete, a talented defender who can switch 1 through 4, has good vision and passing instincts, is terrific in transition, and is a great cutter. He's averaging 10 points, 4 boards, and 2 assists on the season, while shooting 65% from the field and 33% from 3, while the 3s are on low volume. He lacks shot creation ability, he's a hesitant 3-point shooter, only shoots it when he's wide open, has a pretty loose handle. Some believe he has limited potential and will just be a versatile and elite role player at the next level. Next up is a 6'9" wing out of Milwaukee, Baldwin Jr. He's very talented. NBA teams will love his size and mobility. He's a good shooter, good passing instincts, and a decent athlete. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries and has had a very poor start to the season. He's averaging 13 points, 7 rebounds, a steal and a block, and shooting 32% from 3. He's been very inconsistent even in the games he has played, and he struggles to create for himself on a team with weaker players. His defensive awareness and effort will also be a concern. Coming in at 13, we have Dyson Daniels, the 6'6" guard out of the G League Ignite. He has a strong, well-rounded game and is a very versatile and skilled defender. He's very unselfish and has good vision, and he's a solid spot-up shooter. He also has a pretty good floater that he often uses. He's averaging 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, on 45% shooting and 26% from 3. He plays at a pretty slow pace, and his lack of creativity off the dribble and his slow and inconsistent jump shot might deter some teams from taking him any earlier. At times he can also be passive, and he has a pretty skinny frame. At 12 we have Nikola Jovic, the 6'10" forward out of Serbia, who is a super skilled offensive player, great shooter, and a playmaker and handler. He's averaging 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 42% from the field and 40% from 3. His weaknesses include his shot selection, his athleticism and first step, his all-around defense, and his defensive awareness, as he often gets caught sleeping. Kentucky's Tyty Washington shows up at 11. The 6'3" guard has a 6'9" wingspan and is an excellent outside shooter and playmaker. He's also a pretty active defender, a solid but not explosive athlete, a great finisher there, and is effective off and on the ball. He's averaging 14 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal, shooting 50% from the field and 40% from 3. His first step isn't ideal and he is sometimes chaotic on offense, and his decision making has some room to improve. The top G League Ignite prospect, Jaden Hardy, comes in at number 10. The 6'4 guard is an elite shot creator, tough shot maker, and a good athlete. He has a strong pull-up game and a solid handle, and is a good passer. He's also a pretty decent defender, but sometimes a bit lazy. He's averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, but he's only shooting 35% from the field and 27% from 3, with 3.5 turnovers a game. He's struggling a lot with the NBA quality defense. He's also with decision making, his shot IQ, his inefficiency, and he settles for a lot of jump shots. Iowa sophomore Keegan Murray comes in at 9. The 6'8 big body power forward is an absolute bucket. He has a solid handle, he's an agile and smooth athlete, a good rebounder, has great touch around the rim, is a good outside shooter, and has great footwork. He's also a versatile and high IQ defender and a decent shot creator. He's averaging 23 points, 8 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and over 2 blocks a game, shooting 57% from the field and 34% from 3. He's not super explosive and not much of a playmaker, and he's also an older prospect at 21, so teams aren't going to use a top pick on him. Next up is Baby Dwight, 18-year-old Memphis freshman, Jalen Duren. He's 6'11", 250 with a 7'5" wingspan, an absolute physical specimen. He's an explosive athlete and lob threat, powerful finisher, excellent rebounder, elite shot blocker, and an underrated passer. And he also has potential to expand his offensive game with jump shot, as he has solid mechanics. He's averaging 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks, shooting 62% from the field. Teams' concerns with him will be his raw offensive skill set, as he lacks polish and touch around the rim, and he's a poor free throw shooter at just 55%. Next up I have Ben Mathurin, the sophomore out of Arizona. He's 6'7", good athlete and self-creator, a 3-and-D wing, efficient finisher, and great jump shooter. He's averaging 18 points, 6 boards, while shooting 50% from the field and 37% from 3. The concerns with his game will be that he settles for jumpers, he's only an average playmaker, and he's inefficient in transition, despite having the elite physical attributes and tools. Duke's 18-year-old freshman, AJ Griffin, comes in at 6. He's 6'6", 222 with a 7-foot wingspan. He's an absolute bucket, insane athlete, has a strong build, is a versatile defender, and has a polished game. He's also a great shooter and creator, and is very high IQ. He's only averaging 8 points per game, but that's due to him only playing 18 minutes a game as he's coming off an injury. But as his role is increasing, he's also shooting 54% from the field and 47% from 3, which is insane. Concerns with AJ right now are his explosiveness and athleticism, but that is likely just due to his injuries, and his consistency and his lack of lift on his pull-ups, which might be an issue in the NBA. Starting off the top 5, we have Wisconsin sophomore Johnny Davis. The 6'5 guard is a big-time shot maker. He's strong and well-rounded and has a nice handle. He's also very active off the ball on cuts. He's averaging 22 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, a steal and a half, while shooting 44% from the field and 37% from 3. At times he struggles with his shot and relies on making tough shots, and he's also not very shifty off the dribble. But with his elite scoring prowess, I think he'll be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. Next up is a top guard prospect on this big board, Jaden Ivey. The 6'4 guard has a 6'10 wingspan. He has a strong frame, is an elite athlete, an explosive first step and bounce, a great slasher and scorer off the dribble. He's elite in pick and roll situations, and on defense is intense with length and lateral quickness, and is an efficient finisher and good 3-point shooter. He's averaging 17 points, 5 boards and 3 assists, shooting 49% from the field and 42% from 3. Jaden Ivey is excellent in all facets of the game. However, at times he struggles with playing in control, he makes some questionable decisions, and his shot selection at times isn't great, and he has lapses defensively at times. Jaden's elite athleticism and playstyle have drawn comparisons to Ja Morant, and he definitely is deserving of a top 4 pick. Now, the order of the top 3, there is really no right or wrong answer, but at 3 I went with Chet Holmgren, the freshman out of Gonzaga. He's 7 foot with a 7'6 wingspan. He's insanely skilled in all aspects of the game. He has great shooting touch, he's a solid passer, versatile and lengthy defender, has elite shot blocking instincts, and is great on pull-up jump shots. He's averaging 14 points, 9 boards, and 3.5 blocks, shooting an insane 62% from the field and 40% from 3. The reason I don't have him high is I'm concerned with his frame, and I struggle to imagine him going at NBA bigs like Joel Embiid and Nikola Jovic. At 2, I went with Paolo Banchero, the 6'10", 250, 19-year-old Duke freshman. He has a strong frame, he's a versatile, do-it-all modern-day big man, a solid ball handler, is a good shot creator, has a solid three-point shot, is a good playmaker from the post and in transition, and is an extremely strong finisher. He's putting up 18 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, a steal and a block, on 51% field goal and 33% from 3. He has very minimal weaknesses, but if I could point out any, it'd be his athleticism is good but not elite, he lacks the ideal first step, and he's more powerful on his drives rather than explosive. But if Jabari Smith's shooting settles down, I can definitely see Paolo rising to number 1. So now you know, I obviously have Jabari Smith Jr., the 6'10" freshman out of Auburn, at the top of my big board. Jabari's having an excellent season, leading Auburn to be the number 1 team in the nation. He's a mobile big man, an excellent three-point shooter, a fluid mover with a solid handle, and a very versatile defender. He's putting up 16 points, 6 boards, and a block with 1.5 steals, on 46% field goal shooting and 42% from 3. The concerns with him are his thin frame, and at times he settles for bad shots. But to me, as of now, he's the clear number 1 prospect in this year's draft. That's all I've got for this video. Let me know what you think of the big board. Comment anyone you think I missed, or if you think anyone should be higher or lower than what I have them. Subscribe and like for more NBA and college basketball content, and I hope you had a great time watching. JB Hoops out.